to talk about otome hentai. I know that song has been sung a million times, and if I could go back in time and sing it when it was more trendy, I would also remind myself to make this video a ton sooner. Now, otome eroge, or ero otome, or otome hentai, whatever you want to call it, has become much more of a common thing lately. If you do not know what ero otome is, essentially you take the word otome from a genre. It's fiction that's more geared towards women and make it erotic. I mean, it's no secret that most hentai or lewd anime spear-like things are geared more towards men. So when there's pieces of media that are geared towards more to women, well, delicious. I mean, we're still starved for choice, but you know what? It's being made. And now that there's more otome eroge, this also, of course, includes otome ero manga. Okay, I am a connoisseur. I know what lesbian is. And there was a series I read recently that blew me away in ways I wasn't anticipating. In more realistic ways, really. I'm gonna be talking today about a story that I found that really opened my mind to a lot of things, not just because of its story or its characters or its weird kinks, but because it made me realize a lot about advertisement, how important it is, as well as things that we might be able to look forward to in the future regarding hentai. And that is a series I read on DL's site called, okay, hold on, it's a long name. The man who saved me on my isekai trip was a killer. I guess it wasn't that long. I probably could have remembered that. Now, I just want to start by saying I really loved this series, okay? It was a refreshing change from the typical ero otome series that you usually see. Usually with like a rich CEO comes and caresses our main female lead with his big yaoi-like hands and his large chin that is comparable to the Bermuda Triangle. And I'll also start off by saying I really like yandere boys in series, okay? Especially the spicier series. It's the unfiltered obsession for me, okay? My mama told me not to get dicked down by crazy, so I'm just gonna live through these fictional stories and be happy with that. Before I begin, I'd like to give thanks to today's sponsor, Bloodline Heroes of Lithis. Bloodline Heroes of Lithis is a card-based fantasy RPG with an endless amount of things to do. You can enjoy the realistic 3D graphics while collecting heroes, building your kingdoms, as well as creating your own legendary heir by combining various bloodlines from various species, like orcs, lycans, which are essentially werewolves, demons, and dragonborn. The gameplay is easy and relaxing, so you can focus on your kingdom's economy and growing your family tree. By enjoying the game's unique gacha gameplay, you can find a high-level companion that once you have leveled up and achieved a high level of intimacy with, can produce different heirs with different traits. Your offspring can potentially have 5 different powerful abilities out of any number of traits to suit your gameplay needs and become a rare champion. The ability to become one of the strongest kingdoms? What are you waiting for? Check out Bloodline Heroes of Lithis by checking out all the links in my description. Thank you again to our sponsor, and now back to the video. Now, before I get into the story and the real itty-gritty of this series and why it means so much to me, I want to say, before you go into reading this series, there is definitely some stuff in here that is not for everybody. Please read the tags before you start reading it if you do read it. I'm just letting that out there. Now, the series. The story is pretty unique, actually. It is about our main female lead, Megumi, being isekai'd into a whole other world. But then she's found out not to be the hero they really intended to isekai, so she's kind of kicked out and is kind of left to her own devices and is unsure what to do in this brand new world. Suddenly she is ganged up on by a bunch of guys, but is quickly saved by an assassin named Alec. So Alec takes her, and then our story kind of goes from there. We also find out not long after that summoning people from different worlds in this world is extremely illegal, so much so that it can start a war, and that is exactly what our assassin Alec wants to do. Now Alec's a little, you know, he's pretty fucking deranged. He's pretty messed up in the head. He's fucked up. I'm not gonna say anything more because then it'd be spoiler territory. There's only 5 chapters of this series out there. They're a little long chapters, but still there's only 5. Now, war in my otome hentai? Hello, sex delicioso, let's fucking go, bitch. Story alone, okay? That sounds unique as shit, doesn't it? Instead of the usual, like, I'm cleaning a guy's house, and he's also really fucking rich. I am just really glad he's just not another rich CEO. I'm just refreshed, all right? I'm just taking a deep breath in this hot weather. The only cut and dry cliche trope that you will see in this series is from our main female lead, Megumi, who's very much I don't know what to do, and it's fucking annoying. Of course, because it regards war, the story does get pretty deep and thorough. You find out the backstory of our assassin, Alec. There's a bunch of, like laws and rules that you find out that are in their world, and it's only 5 chapters, so the fact that we get such detailed length of things, it's great. Honestly, I love it. Usually when you're reading any ero hentai or doujinshi of any kind that's only 5 chapters, it's gonna be pretty quick and to the point of sex, and that's really just the storyline, isn't it? So adding the isekai element, which is also a pretty unique otome element for an eroge for once, will you just say, the fact that we're getting that as well as a deep, thorough story is, I think, part of what separates this ero manga from the rest. I do think sometimes the writing could be better, okay? Like the ending, it didn't make a lot of sense for me. It could have been done better, but to be fair, what kind of hentai ending ever was done well? Okay, there were some, but there's not many. And the art! The art is so good. It's so. I am just grateful the men do not have that sickly otome face that we see in every fucking, oh my god! Detail, the character designs, the scenery, fucking Picasso-esque shit. And the sensual activities, bro! I could see the literal sweat droplets come off her titties, okay? Are you kidding me? This is top-notch shit, okay? I see the veins on that poppin' pee-pee, all right? And that's some good, that's already, if I can see some veins, boy howdy, that's the shit I live for. It's cool, the quality, I'm getting at the quality. If you would like to see this video uncensored, then please check out the links in my description. So with all of this combined, you know, the art, the storyline, everything for an ero manga series, it's never really been done before. This is like the first time I've ever seen something like this, especially with a yandere. Boy, it's like God came down to me, took my wet fantasies and just threw it into this series, and it's just that's what this is for me. This is a very lewd conversation. So knowing that this is possible, knowing that there are potential possibilities for more thorough stories of otome games and not the typical like, oh, but I like him and he doesn't like me, let me just have a sex friend. Knowing that this is possible has given me a lot of hope for this series. And to go off that point, this series might seem pretty familiar to you and you might recognize it, right? Now, this series was a very popular trailer that was passed around all over Twitter. And it was passed around for a very good reason. It suddenly came onto all of our Twitter timelines one day, and we were all collectively, we all just jizzed our pants, all of us all over the floor. It was the best hentai animation any of us have ever seen, and that's like that's just law, that's just the truth. And it was released when there wasn't much information on it, at least none that I could find initially, and we all thought we were finally getting a beautifully animated hentai, and not just any type of hentai, but an otome hentai. Now, of course, I can't show the whole trailer because it's a hentai trailer. There is sex in it, but if you really wanted to find it, I promise you it's very easy to find. I cannot stress enough how beautiful the animation was. Like, this is some Violet Evergarden, but if it had nipples type shit. All of us collectively were hype as all hell because we were finally getting something superb. We were finally just walking away after all these years from the same 3-frame type bullshit with the crusty macaroni cheese ass sound effects and moving on to something brilliant. Some creation of Adam type stuff. We were all crying tears of joy that collectively suddenly turned into tears of disappointment because we found out that the trailer wasn't for a full-length hentai, but rather for an advertisement of physical releases of that series being made. Now, saying I was extremely sad was an understatement, but it did make me open my eyes and realize how pathetic it was that I was crying over a hentai. It opened up the doors for me to realize what hentai could potentially be. We've always, all of us have talked about how we want hentai to be animated better, how it is still say the same type of animation as it has when it first began, but we never really had an idea of how that could look. So being able to get a peek inside and seeing the potential of what could be made, it's a step forward. And also, as a side note, it was a brilliant idea to make this trailer. Everybody was talking about it, everybody was excited, and although it was just a trailer for the physical release, everybody knows of this series, okay? So yes, to go from here, you're probably saying, this ended like a month ago and the series came out months ago. Why are you only talking about this now? And to answer that, I thought the series would also just be another saucy series that I would read and be like, all right, well, that was that. No, clearly it wasn't, you know? It opened up so many more potential roads in the ero otome world, or just even the hentai world in of itself. I had also just recently finished the series now that everything's calmed down in my life and I can finally catch up on some series. So I had a lot to say about it, and I said it, you know, that's the video. There is a lot of praise that deserves to be thrown around for this series, and it'll never end for me. It is never gonna end. I rewatched that trailer so much just for just the details, man. The
details.
Now, I'm not gonna sit here and lie to you and say this is the most brilliant written series ever, or even like it's just a really good written series, okay? It's not some berserk level type shit. But if you are deeply entrenched into the hentai world just like me, and I'm so sorry that's the case, we need to get help. If you are deeply entrenched into it, then this is a series you do need to indulge in. Honestly, even if you're not, this is just something, if you're interested and by Lord, please do. And honestly, I'm excited to see the future of everything. I'm excited to see what more series come out and what more unique ideas will form from this series instead of itself, or you know, whatever. Honestly, like I said, it opened a lot of paths to a lot of different things, and I'm excited to see where they all lead, is what I'm saying. And that's the end. I'm talking. I'm forming sentences, I promise. Either way, thank you guys for watching this video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Either way, thank you guys again, and I will see you later. Bye, babies. Bye. 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 Bye.